I am Steve King.
And I'm Johnnie Putman, and we're inside Space in Evanston.
And we're going backstage for a conversation with Marcia Ball. We are fortunate enough to be able to spend some time with one of the best friends a piano keyboard ever had, and that would be, we have to address her by her official name, her Tallness, Marcia Ball.
Welcome back to the Midwest, Marcia.
Thank you so much.
We are backstage at Space in Evanston, where Marcia's going to be performing tonight. Do you ever get tired of being on the road?
Not yet. Not yet.
Thank
I
you.
spent a little time in July. I stayed home for a couple of weeks. Everybody in the band was scattered doing family and things, and I was ready. This morning I was really ready to go.
Good for us.
Yeah.
By the way, we have to congratulate you because you have won yet another award. We found out just today. It's from, I believe, Living Blues?
Yeah, I just found out the Living Blues keyboard readers poll.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. But again, I had to write them down here to get it straight. 10 Blues Music Awards, now 9 Living Blues Awards under your belt, 5 Grammy nominations, and back in the springtime, the state of Texas said, this year George Strait is the musician to show Texas off, and next year it's going to be Marcia Ball. Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Does a scepter and a crown come with that?
No, and you don't even get the banner.
Or a big belt buckle, right?
Right, or
It's Texas.
I'm sure George got the belt.
That's right.
Well, we've heard from a lot of people when they found out we were going to be talking to you, and they want us to ask you, when is the next album coming out? Are you working on it?
Well, that's what I was doing in July while everybody else was scattered out and on vacation. Don went to Italy. Corey went to Alaska.
Wow.
And I stayed home and wrote songs.
Good.
And so that's what I'm planning on. So we'll probably record in the fall, is the plan, and release next year.
2014 was your last album, right?
Yeah, so it's plenty time, 2018.
Yeah.
Some of the songs on the Tattooed Lady and the Alligator Man, like that title, employ so many words that it has occurred to me, maybe I just used them all up. It took me a while to get back into gear and start writing songs again.
Well, now, I don't want to get controversial, but I will ask you, because we're Facebook friends, and you have been known to post a political opinion or two on Facebook.
Oh, yeah.
Is any of this going to make itself into your writing for your new song?
Yes, interestingly enough, I've got it's a ridiculously hopeful, cheerful kind of record, and I don't have a whole lot of control over that. When the songs start to come, I just write them down, and then I'll look at one, and there's a beautiful song that I wrote with a friend called "World Full of Love," that is sweet and hopeful, and I've got one that's tentatively titled "I'm Glad I Did What I Did When I Did It."
Amen.
Right. And there's just more. There's hopeful songs that keep popping up, but at the same time, I do have at least one, probably two, that are more to the point. And as you know, if you've followed me very much, I tend to set those songs to good dance beats. So, people will be just dancing along and they'll go,
Oh,
what'd she say?
What were those lyrics?
The one in particular is inspired by something Molly Ivins said. And Molly was our great columnist, biographer, writer in Texas, lived in Austin, but she wrote for the Fort Worth papers and the Dallas papers and national columns. And at one point she said, nothing will change until we get out in the street and beat on pots and pans. And it inspired me, to have a 3-day protest in Austin at the Capitol a few years ago. And now I'm writing the pots and pans.
Good.
So.
Wow.
It's nice to hear that it sounds like you have never lost your optimism.
Well, it was kind of surprising to me because really I'm in the dumps terribly. I'm so worried about what's going on, about our country, about just the quality of the government. And I don't care what party you believe in. If you read one iota deeper than the circus headlines, you find out that our agencies are not being staffed. Our State Department has been gutted. I mean, I think these guys set out to destroy government, and it's going to be really hard to stop it.
Yeah. So
I didn't mean to get us stuck on politics.
I'm sorry
but
you asked, and I can't
it was-
I cannot say that I'm not just worried as heck. So it really does surprise me too. Except that I think that what I'm trying to do is tell people
yes.
to raise up your head, go forward, make things better.
But at the same time, we need music like yours. It makes us, for a couple of hours, we can just feel good.
Right.
When
Yeah,
you,
I know.
as one critic,
That's why I make it danceable.
yeah. Well, as one critic said, Marcia Ball raises the roof and tears down walls. And isn't it funny? I've got to the point now. Every time I see the word wall, a chill goes up my spine. I'm like, whoa!
Oh, I
But you're doing it in a good way.
I know. Oh, I know. There we are.
You're sitting at the piano. Do you write at the piano?
I do. I write lyrics all the time. I mean, I write things down all the
On
time.
napkins and all that cool stuff.
Yes, I've got stacks of paper and all kinds of things. Domino score sheets. Because we talk trash the whole time we're playing dominoes. I even worked dominoes into a song.
Wait,
So
I'm curious. Do you count the ends or do you just match the ends?
we are playing a game called Mexican Train.
Oh.
And it's kind of follow the leader. Your 6 goes against your 6, and your 9 goes against your 9, and it goes on out. It's a game that you can put more people at the table than a 4 table for like 42 or for 5, 10, 15 straight dominoes. You can put 6 or 8 people, and if you don't know how to play, you can learn it in 2 hands.
And you don't have to know math.
No, and it doesn't. Well, you do have to add up your
that's
total
true.
at the
Yeah,
end, but
yes.
we consider that exercise. And then, like I said, there's a lot of trash talking. And
I'll just tell you that my Mama Sue from Tennessee used to say that that's the way Northerners play dominoes. Because we down south, it's a challenge.
oh yeah, well, no, we never know who won the game really 10 minutes after the game, and it's fun. And we play a different version. Everybody you find who plays Mexican Train usually has a different version. And
funny.
One of our we play the Fort Worth rules, but one of our players, one of our friends, plays up in Arkansas, and sometimes if you start being real competitive, then somebody says you play in Arkansas. So everybody's got a way.
Yeah.
And that table has been inspiring. I've thanked my domino buddies on my last album for all the inspiration.
And your sanity, right?
Yeah, for sure.
One of the things that I think we've learned about you over the years of our conversations is, as much as you travel, you seem to take your comfort zone with you on the road, whether it's dominoes or books or whatever.
Cooking.
You just kind of, what do you have to, like, at the end of tonight's gig, when you go back to the hotel or whatever, what is in that room that makes you feel, okay, I can just relax now?
Well, I do. I'm reading a real good book right now, so
Share.
it's Jodi Picoult.
Oh, I love her.
Yeah,
I read all her
do too.
stuff.
It's called The Song.
It's the newest one.
I don't know. I don't know.
Because I eat hers.
No, it couldn't be because I buy my books at Goodwills and thrift stores.
Okay,
and, wherever I find them. I don't buy too many hardbacks, but I have plenty of books like that. So.
What are you listening to?
And I just read actually a cool book, and it's not real new, kind of combining things. It's called Blood, Bones, and Butter. And the woman's name is Gabrielle Hamilton, and she's a chef. She has a little restaurant in New York called Prune, and she's writing her memoir, the memoir of, as she says, a reluctant chef.
Huh.
Yeah.
So you're blending it. Because I remember some great late night talk shows with you on the radio about food. We'd get off on the food tangent, what we'd made lately, and And
Yeah.
it can be an experience, it sounds like, at your house when you're in the cooking mood.
Yeah, we all are. Gordon cooks. I just took with a bunch of women friends a Thai cooking class at a restaurant, a favorite restaurant of ours, not far from
Cool.
my house in Austin, and that was great.
Yeah, yeah.
In fact, you and Johnnie are going to have to get together because she is working on a gluten-free cookbook for Southern cooking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Southern fried, gluten-free.
It's going to be, because comfort food, people say when they're diagnosed that they can't have gluten anymore, they go, oh, I can't have fried chicken or biscuits or gravy or catfish or all the foods that one should be raised on and able to eat. So
Right.
I've decided, no, we can make those gluten-free and make people happy and
Well,
fat.
biscuits might be a challenge, I would think, but
No, actually, I got a secret, so
you got
it's
it?
been fun.
Good,
Yeah, it's been a
good.
lot of fun. Steve was wondering too, what music you're listening to. Anybody that you've stumbled across that you're
I've been so immersed in
your own
writing
music?
right
Yeah.
now that and I'm not doing too much exploring, and a lot of times what I hear is live music, and like y'all,
Yeah.
I go out, and the other night we had 3 events in town, and one was a fundraiser for a friend, and Joe Ely played with one of his older original bands. The guy who we were honoring was the accordion player in Joe Ely's band early on, the Flatlanders and early bands. And so that was great. And people like Melford Milliken, who's a great singer in Austin, was there. And then the other one, a young man named Monty Montgomery, who's an amazing guitar player, played, and Ray Wiley Hubbard, who's
Oh, yeah.
the Up Against the Wall, Redneck Mother author, and is hot as a pistol right now. His star, at over 60, his star is on the ascending track right now, and it's really wonderful.
Yeah.
He's been on the late night shows. So that, my friend Carolyn Wonderland, who was in town this week, I'm listening to her. There's a wonderful band in Austin called the Band of Heathens, and they're hard to beat.
Wow.
So
Well, you did a reunion show just recently with some of your girlfriends.
with your girlfriends, yes.
Dreams Come True.
Dreams Come
Angela
True.
Straley and
Yeah.
Luann Barton. Yeah, Dreams
That's
Come True.
very
To,
cool.
to
And
this
Sarah
day, that
Brown.
is still one of my all-time favorite albums.
One of
Yeah.
mine too.
Yeah.
I really think that was some of the best music I ever made.
Was it that night that a Chicagoan hung out? He had been in Austin the night before, Mud Morganfield, and then he
Yes.
stuck around because he wanted to be there with you guys performing.
Yes, he actually played that night, and
Isn't
Sue
he-
Foley played with us, or played after us as well, who's a Canadian, who came down and lived in Austin for a long time and stood next to Derek O'Brien, our great guitar player there.
She's a bass player.
Derek's the guitar player.
Oh, okay.
Sarah Brown
Is bass.
plays bass.
Yeah.
And so Sue did her apprenticeship in Austin next to Derek.
Wow.
Went back to Canada, had a son, pretty much raised him, and then came back out. And now it was great to see her. Derek is on stage, but it's Sue's show now.
Nice.
And that was cool.
Good.
But yeah, playing with Angela and Luann again and Sarah was so cool.
Didn't feel like 30 years had passed, right?
No.
That's
No.
that's scary.
Really, I know. Nothing feels like
I
that.
know. That's another story, though.
Yeah.
That's after the camera's off.
Speaking of some of the people you've worked with in the past, can we expect any reunion with you and Delbert at some point?
Well, he played harmonica on one of the songs on this this last record on the Tattooed Lady, and if he's around, I'm going to grab him for this next one. And I hope to record some of that record in Louisiana. I've got some songs that will particularly benefit from having people in Louisiana who I know play, including, and if you're asking who I'm listening to, there's a band called the Hub City All-Stars in Lafayette. It's Roddy Romero and the Hub City All-Stars. And their record, Gulfstream, was nominated for 2 Grammys this year as self-produced,
Wow.
record. But it is one of my favorite records. And Roddy Romero is a wonderful singer. Also down in Lafayette is a woman named Yvette Landry. She's a great singer. So part of my reason for wanting to go down there and record is to soak up the right vibe. Have access to the accordion players. Roddy plays accordion. Terrence Simeon, who's played with me, is there.
Yeah.
Steve Riley could play fiddle or accordion. You know, and to have Yvette and Roddy sing on one of the songs. So
Does the vibe in the studio you're recording in affect how you record?
well, yeah, it would. It does. But that's kind of one of those no matter where you go, there you are
Yeah.
situations. If you are prepared and comfortable, and in Austin, I go to the same studio just about every time I record, and the engineer owner is a friend of mine, and he knows his gear, and we relax, and doesn't matter who we bring in. And then in Austin, I've got access to great horn players, great arrangers. My horn player, Eric Bernhardt, is a great arranger, so I'm going to employ him to do some of that for me. I've got Mike Shermer on guitar, and he is we've co-written a song. On the last record we co-wrote 2, and we're not done yet with this one. So, you know, he's a big asset. And then I have a strong rhythm section with Don Bennett and Corey Keller. So I'm comfortable with who I've got.
Well, when you're in Louisiana, if you want to run away and go to the east instead of going to the west, you can come to our house in Panama City Beach.
Yeah, when are you
Right up the road a piece.
When are you going to come
Sounds
down
so
and
nice.
play in Panama City
Yeah.
Beach?
Well, you know, I used to go play the Shrimp Fest around there, and
Seafood Festival.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
We have a huge blues fest now. We've got to get you down there for
Well,
that. I mean, you're in the
throw
Gulf
my name.
Coast
I
Hall
know.
of Fame,
I
for
know.
heaven's sake.
Throw my name out there.
We will.
We
Count on
got to
it.
take you to our favorite restaurant, which is called Boondocks.
And it's down in the boondocks, and it's under a
And
bridge.
you will get the best catfish and shrimp that you've ever had in your
I
life.
do love
And
catfish.
when it gets dark, they say, now be careful when you walk to your car because there are gators out there. But you know how that is.
Yeah, I am careful. I think I'd rather meet a gator than a bear.
Oh, yeah, I'm right there
Now
with
there's a
you.
choice.
Yes.
I know.
Yes. Well, on that happy note, we know you've got to get yourself in the zone for the show tonight. Thank you for your time. Thanks for coming back to the Midwest. We love you dearly.
My
Yeah, we miss
pleasure.
you.
know, I come as often as I can here. I just did the 4th of July at
Fitzgerald's. Well, yes, there wouldn't be a 4th of July without you there.
Well, I've done every one, but I think one.
Yep.
And
I remember we had Bill Fitzgerald on the radio so he could explain that to people when that happened. It's like, okay, the world is not coming to an end.
and he never fails to just load that thing up with great music.
Yes. Yes,
So-
crazy. Like here at Space,
I
you
know.
look at the calendar and you say, well, maybe I don't like that kind of music. Tomorrow there's going to be something you like.
Right.
So we're very, very lucky here. We are.
And I'm lucky that I can play, and I have actually played here one night
Yes.
and Fitzgerald's on just a regular weekend because, you know,
Well,
you're
Marcia-
an hour apart. And
Yeah, and that's South Side, we're North Side.
Yeah.
He's a South Side boy, I can say that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a
Mixed marriage.
A mixed
Southside boy and North
Northside girl, yes. Well, again, have a great show. Thank you, and we'll look for that new album in 2018.
Oh, thank you so much. It's wonderful to see you.
You too. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much. We are so happy to be here. Back in space. One of Eric's favorite things, space. And I want to thank Beth Gallagher and Sharon Bourbonnais for playing with us tonight. Actually, some good friends of mine from Austin. So, pleasant, not a surprise, but a pleasant happening to have them up here to play with us. So we're going to do some stuff from our most recent, soon to be our formerly most recent album on Alligator Records, and the record is called The Tattooed Lady and the Alligator Man. Yeah, I know it. I'm just waiting for some more stories to like that, you know, somebody to show up on my front porch again and tell me a story I can write a song like that about. I don't know what I'm going to call the next one. Actually, I'm writing a bunch of songs for the next record, and it's scary because they're like cheerful. They're hopeful and cheerful. And that's just counterintuitive, as far as I'm concerned right now. But that's